Okay, so what are you thinking with your color scheme here?
I just thought I don't know. I just used purple and
But that was deliberate, correct?
yeah, I just thought like oh like it'd be interesting if it was like just a different color and
I don't have a problem with that. I actually like it. What do you think?
I mean I think I could like blend the colors more. It's kind of patchy a little. I
Sure.
feel like yeah, I just if I just could blend it a little, I think it should be like pretty okay.
But there's also something I would say. I get what you're saying in
Yeah.
relation to how we're working, but it's a sort of a hard edged idea. It feels deliberate to me. It doesn't feel like somebody did this who doesn't understand their edges.
Yeah.
Like I see a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff online called Heavy Paint, some program or something. Have you heard of that?
Yep.
It kind of reminds me of that kind of look.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, uh, I don't want to say like I tried to do that, but
I
like
know,
I was
I
just
know, I get it, but I'm just telling you, it kind of works. You know what I mean?
okay. I mean, at first, before like yesterday, I had a problem because I wasn't sure how you got the lines without like while removing the background. But then someone told me, so I was able to get the lines
Well,
in.
you mean that we just put it on multiply?
Yeah, yeah. I just did not
Always
do that.
okay. So always make sure that when you're not when you don't get something, make sure you tell me, right?
Yeah, yeah, I asked in the chat, like, oh, does anyone know how to do the multiply? And
Yeah,
someone
just
replied.
I don't want anybody falling behind. Okay, and my job here is to make sure that you understand this. Does that make sense? So never not ask a question.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. And again, when I was going through my learning process, and well, it's still going on, there was a lot of things that were quote unquote simple that I was like, I don't get this. I don't get it. You know what I mean? And I had to kind of go back and, ask my teacher over and over. And I'm sure they were like, why don't you get this? It's simple. Well, there's certain things that just don't resonate with you for whatever reason. And you're going to have those happen in your learning process, no matter who you are. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So yeah, I agree with you. You could go, I mean, if you want to take this, I'm going to flatten this again. I wouldn't normally do that.
hmm
Yeah, you could come in here, and it could be sort of soften a few of the, you don't want to soften everything, by the way, right?
yeah,
But I think about the transitions, like where it's probably, like this is a pretty hard edge right there. I might soften these up a little bit. And the other thing it's going to do is just by the nature of sort of pulling the paint together, it'll sort of start to get a little bit of a mid-tone
yeah.
between the high and the dark. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So see, it's kind of creating that because you're sort of mixing the paint just like you would with oil paint, right?
hmm
So I would just come in here and probably soften a few spots. Now, and a lot of it, I'm just looking at like, what do I think? Like, that's not bad. But you can see how I could go through here for 2 minutes
Yeah,
and sort of refine it a little bit. Does that make sense?
yeah. There's a lot of like just
Or I could go,
patches.
and then like if you're going, okay, maybe I don't like that color scheme, then I could go
Oh,
through here and go, is there another color scheme I like? Like maybe start there maybe a little bit and change this. Now, obviously I flatten this, but normally I
yeah.
could just go to the rocks or whatever and go, maybe I switch it to that. And if you notice now your color swatches over here kind of switched to a little more deserty kind of
hmm
color idea, right?
Yep.
And then I'd have to probably knock it down a little bit, desaturate it, and I would change, obviously I'd have the sky in another layer, so that wouldn't be a problem. And then I could just start to go, okay, I'll start here maybe. I don't know. But I don't have a problem with you doing a different color scheme at all.
All right.
I mean, I actually like this. Okay, cool. Who else? Is everybody else okay? That's interesting.
I just tried to kind of do a little bit more of what we did yesterday on
Okay.
mine. Um, yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, it, it didn't come out quite like yours, but I mean,
I don't care if it comes out like mine.
yeah. No, no, I know. I'm just saying, but I think I think I definitely got the idea of everything you were saying there.
Again,
Like,
oh yeah, okay, cool. What I'm really, look, again, I don't expect everybody to become a digital painter overnight. I'm trying to lay the groundwork for you so, you know,
Yeah.
you start understanding these things and these concepts and the tools. I'm mostly concerned with the tools, really, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so just make sure, all I'd say is like, make sure that you don't make huge leaps from like this fairly dark all of a sudden to a super light, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So kind of think, I love this, like this cool in here in this part of the rock right here. You soften
Yeah.
that up
I try
right
to do
there.
the color layer. Yeah.
That's what?
I try to use the color layer, like blend it together.
Yeah. I'll probably soften this edge right here.
Yeah.
Maybe that a little bit. Get a little bit of texture on there. Oops. You know, stuff like that, right?
Yeah. I think definitely like one of the things just starting out, like I just get lost in what layer I'm into. You know what I mean? Like but it's definitely coming along a lot better like every time I've been doing it.
What and you want to do product design, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do I'll try and do a quick demo in here later on about that kind of idea, like ID sketching, product sketching, that kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd appreciate it.
And again, I'll throw some more resources at you too as I find them.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. Anybody else having any big problems, or is everybody else kind of getting it?
Mike, I did it. I just did a quick other one with the different, after you showed me how to do it with the lines.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I mean, I didn't, obviously it's not done. I didn't, but.
I don't really consider these like, these are exercises. I don't really consider them like a thing where I expect you to go to some big, the next one, I want you to go more of a finish. Okay.
Okay. I don't know what happened to the sky. I thought that I reached all, but I think I just didn't go up high enough. And it was supposed to be dark at the top, like how it, you know, gets darker towards the top of the sky. But
yeah.
And the dark areas I have to go in on.
So we could probably just go. And the reason I don't care what brush I'm using is because I'm going
to blend
soften it up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. But, you know, one of the easiest ways to do this, you know, we've done this before. I can go up here, pick another blue. And again, I don't care what blue it is because I can adjust it. Do my transparent to nothing thing.
Mm.
A little gradient over it. That might be too far, but that's okay. Then I'm going to go find something that looks good. Let's just say it's there. And then I can go, you know, desaturate it a little bit, whatever I want to do, darken it.
Yeah.
I'd probably desaturate it a little bit. You know, just something like that, right?
Yeah, that looks good.
So this turned out to be an overlay, you know, then you get sky, blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. Is it making sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's my main concern. Again, I don't want to be a step-by-step class where you don't remember any of this stuff. I want you to have, you know, understand your tools. Anybody else? Is Elan here? Where's Elan?
I don't see her yet.
That's weird.
Yeah, maybe she's having issues.
I think that people might be having, every now and then this happens. I don't know what causes it, but all of a sudden the link is funky. That's why the meeting ID number is always there, you guys.
That happened to me. I had to use that number.
Yeah, I don't know what that is because nothing changes, so I don't really understand what it is. So I don't know how to fix it, but that's why that meeting number is there, the meeting ID number, okay? So if you have that problem, you know, cut and paste that in there, okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, I just went to an old email.
Yeah. What the thing that's weird about it is that I try and I always use the same room number, so hopefully to negate that kind of thing, but you know, it doesn't always work for whatever reason. Hang on. I'm getting my own. And today, if anybody's having that problem, I'm obviously not going to mark them late or anything, because that's not their fault. Where's my screen? There it is. And I know I'm missing one person today because of a work thing. So, okay, I have 2 people I'm missing today. All right. So everybody else is okay then, correct? Now's the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So let somebody look through here real quick. I want to make sure that everybody's good. Okay, so what I want to do today is I want to go over a couple of really simple tools. Okay, cool. Noah, what's this one you gave me? Is Noah here? Yeah, Noah.
He's having mic problems. He's been chatting in the chat window.
Oh, okay, let me look. Okay. Well, Noah, in the chat, can you tell me what I'm looking at? Or is that just, it says personal project, so I'm assuming you just want to do a different thing, which I'm fine with. I don't see him there. Okay, no, I don't know what that is. Okay. And I don't see Elan either. Okay, Victor, okay. Okay, wait a minute, I want to get this one. Oh, okay, good. Elan's not here, but I like this.
Yeah, it's coming along nicely.
Yeah. What I want to say here is, I don't really want to go into it too much because she's not here, but I would just, paint back over this section a little bit because I want to control that edge. Oops. Probably don't want that brush. I probably want a more precise brush. Okay. Well, I see what she's doing. She's doing a little bit of a reflection, I think. So I just make it very clear that that's a reflection over the rock. Does that make sense? Or under the rock or whatever. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. And this, I want to try something here. We'll get into a mixer brush next week, because I think that's going to be a different way of attacking all this. I'd pull this reflection down into the water a little more, so it feels more like a reflection. And then probably give it a shoreline edge here, so it really feels like it ends. And then I play with that edge a little bit, but just to really make it sure that that that's the edge of the rocks going to the, whatever you call it, into the water. Does that make sense? John's always my one that tells me people can actually hear me.
I usually use the thumbs when you're not talking directly to me.
Yeah, that's good. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. Because, sometimes it's like, oh, we didn't hear that for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I want to make sure. Is this showing that we're recording?
It does on my screen.
Okay.
It's red.
Also, Noah says he did the personal project that he thought was similar enough. So
yeah, that's fine.
Just to let you know, that's what he was chatting about.
And I'm getting, oh, that's from somebody else.
What?
I thought that was from, okay.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
I also threw in those thumbs. I just did it right now. There's not a lot, but if you want to look at them when you have time, don't take up the class too much. But I threw
The
a few of
thumbs
those
of thumbs of what did you do?
from the Proco Space Challenge. They're just black and white thumbs.
Okay, I'll look at those after.
Yeah. No hurry. You can even email me later or whatever. I'm not worried. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, let me get. I hate it when this thing does this. Once this thing goes too big on my screen, I can't make it smaller. Does anybody know how to do that? Super annoying. Anyway, all right. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to start this real quick. Hang on. Okay. Okay, I want to go over what we're going to do. Okay. Yeah, we can look at those. Are those color? Are you going to end up doing color?
Yeah, I usually just start out with a black and white, like really just one brush, and then they're kind of placeholder ideas more than finished works.
That's good, because what we're going to talk about today is that. It's going beside a full-blown painting, right?
See, I'm clairvoyant as well.
I know. Where's Elaine at? That's weird.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's worrisome. She's usually right here on time, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
Elaine's always on time. Let me go to my... Once it switches the view... Oh, there it is. Okay, so it's just the same. All right, so I'm missing 12, 13. I'm missing 2 people. One I know about. Okay. All right. So let's look at something really simple, but it'll come in handy. First one. Let's look at this tool. And another thing, anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. All I'm going to talk about on this one is just under your brushes. Over my brushes, oh, here it is. There's this tool, color replacement tool, okay? I'm just going to go grab a green maybe. That's fine. And this is pretty straightforward, this tool. It's going to do exactly what it says. It's going to replace the color. Now up here, you have these options. I usually stay on color. And then it's either color or hue. Right now I'm going to say color. And then I always forget these things. And then you can have find edges, where it's literally finding the edges of the color or whatever. And then you can put tolerance, which is how much of this it's going to grab, sort of like the magic wand tool, sort of. But I picked a color here, right here. And when I go over this, let's see if it goes over. No, it didn't. See, it found the edges of that badge. Let's see if it finds that. Yeah, it found that. So some things where it gets too close together, the values and all that, it won't, see, like it can clearly find that edge because that's a hard, dark edge. Does that make sense? Okay. And I could just go through here, and the beauty of it is, and now where that little, can you guys see that little cross right in the center of the brush? So this is a brush like anything else, so I can go up here and I can go how hard or soft I want it to be, how big it is, what the spacing is, that's interesting. But that little crosshairs right there, that's telling it where I want to paint. So I want to put the crosshairs right on where I want to paint like that. And this has got a real dark to light color here. So it's going to find the edges pretty well, maybe here too. But the nice thing about it is it changes the color, but it keeps all the reflections and all that kind of stuff. So, and now I'm going to show you another way to do this probably next week. It's kind of interesting.
That's too cool, man.
So if you go into whatever, I mean, this could be a graphic design thing where they give you a photo of this kind of thing and go, hey man, we want to do the Porsche red, but we have this shot. Okay, cool. Now it's not going to work very good on like black. That's just not going to work very well. Okay. Again, it's just hard to change those kind of colors. So you'd have to find a different routine for that.
Would you say it's kind of like tone based? So if it's a similar tone of green, or can you actually manipulate that as well?
Well, you could go in afterwards and manipulate that with your saturation tools, with your, you know, all that dodge and burn, color burn, right?
But I mean, would it behoove you when you're first doing, like right now, that green is kind of similar to that blue tone wise?
Yeah.
That's the
Well,
best
the reason
approach?
I'm picking the green is because I know it'll work fine.
Okay. Just don't try and do too much of a difference in color.
It's one of those things where you need to play with it. And
Okay.
look, all these tools, like I might go, yeah, it doesn't work that great for this. And then I'll talk to somebody or whatever, and they'll go, oh, yeah, it does. All you got to do is do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
So it's really, I tend to keep my tool sets really straightforward. I don't really, and I'm doing this with a mouse, by the way, so. So now we've sort of got that, right? And I got a little on the tire, but oh well. And now we shifted it, right? And then look, you can go up here and play with these. Some of these settings you're going to find out with Photoshop. You'll go, I'm going to try that, and you'll go, that doesn't do anything. Or you'll go, whoa, why would I want to do that? Well, there's certain cases you would, but you're going to find like color's going to be probably the one you go to the most. And then over here, it's just telling you how it's picking. And usually you can hover over, because I always forget these little tools because I just kind of have it set up the way I use it. And then find edges, and then continuous or contiguous, whatever it is. And then obviously the tolerance. So those are your basic tools with it. Does that make sense? Everybody understands that? No questions?
Yep.
So you just chose the color that you want to replace?
Yeah.
I think I missed that.
This is, yeah, I just picked a color over here just like we always do.
Like green, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's a
And then
pretty
you
straightforward tool. Now you could do different things with it, obviously, but this is one of those tools where I want you to just go and play with it.
Right.
But you can see it works really good, right?
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of weird things where it's like, I got to change the color of this, or it's just really weird, you know? And like I had this one, and I don't usually do this kind of work, but I was doing a CD, whatever, package or whatever. And the photography I got was really good. It was really good photography. And the photographer had clearly already edited it, you know, done his color changes and all that kind of stuff. And then when I got it from the client, they go, okay, so you should, you know, work on the photography. And I go, I don't need to work on this photography. It looks great. But they're so like not understanding of this. They just, normally you get photography. It depends. If you get it from a really good photographer, they're going to trick it all out already for you. But a lot of times, you know, you hand it over to the designer and the designer will trick it out. Well, he was just used to doing that. So he's like, yeah, go change it. And I go, I can't change this guy's work in good conscience. It's good work. You know what I mean? But they'll do stuff like that. Like they'll go, well, change the coffee cup to red. And you're like, why? Just because they want to make changes, just because they think that's being creative, whatever it is. And then you go, all right, at some point you go, I don't give a crap anymore. You want a red coffee cup in there? Who cares? And I just go in and do it that way. Does that make sense? And ruin the guy's photography, which I felt bad about. Actually, I didn't change anything in that one. I got away with it. Okay, so let's look. Okay. That all makes sense, correct? No questions? So play with that today. I don't care what you play with it on, just play with it on something. Okay, let me go back. Shoot, where's my, I have a folder for today. Okay, so we've been talking about, it's really weird. I have a folder also. I have all my folders set up for, oh, here it is. We've been talking about brushwork, okay?
Mhm.
And one of the things I want to talk about is, because, you know, some of you guys might be graphic designers, I don't know, and you're like, yeah, I'm not going to be a digital painter. Why does that matter? It does matter, okay? Like edge control and all that stuff. The more you know about your craft and all that stuff, like most graphic, and you know, a huge chunk of graphic designers know basically what you learned in this class about the first 2 weeks, and that's it. They know overlays, they know how to select things, they know how to layer things. If you ever look at crappy graphic design portfolios, it's a whole bunch of layered stuff, you know, and then a couple of filters, you know, it's like this person doesn't know what they're doing, okay? So, we're going to talk about a clipping mask real quick, okay? So I made this, all I did is I just took a really oily brush, like, I don't even know which one it was. Might have been this one. No, I think it was this one. Oops. Color really doesn't matter on this. And I made it big. And I just did something like that, okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, in order for this to work, this the object you're going to bring into your environment has to be on a transparent layer. It can't just be on a white layer, because Photoshop doesn't know what that is other than it's the entire shape, okay? Or the entire page or whatever. So I want to grab this. I'm going to pull it into my lion thing. Actually, let's do this. Let's go and make a new document. And now I'm going to pull this into this. And again, if I hold Option while I'm dragging this, it'll drag from the center out, okay? So I'm going to hold Option, and it drags from the center out. Let's just do it like that. And then I'm going to drag this thing in there. So now I've got that, okay? So let's make the lion a little bigger. So I'm looking at placement right now. Actually, let's make him maybe there. So now I know that this is, and this will make sense in a second. This is where I want this object to land, okay? So I'm going to put this object, this is the one part that's weird to me. It feels like the object should be on top, but it's not. Now, I'm going to hold Option, and on Windows, I think it's Alt, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to go in between these two layers. I'm going to hold Option and go, see that little icon that just popped up? Can everybody see that?
Yeah. Little box.
So now I'm just going to go click, and it turns it into a clipping mask. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, that's cool. So that was between the two images.
Now here's the other nice part. I can come in here, grab my Move tool, and I can line him up. I can make him bigger. And then I can go, I think I have to do it on this layer. I'm going to grab that brush again. And I can sort of start painting out this stuff.
Mm.
Does that make sense why edges and things like that matter, that we're talking about it even to a graphic designer or something like that?
Well, sure. It unifies like everything that you're putting into it. So
It also, hopefully, and again, one of the things I want the program to elevate is design thinking, and just thinking. People tend to just go to these, you know, if you have a lot of, not just tools, but the way you think is a little different than everybody else, it really helps you, I think, okay? Somebody just entered the room. Yeah.
It's me, Mike.
Did you have trouble getting in the room?
Yeah, I had trouble getting in the room, and then I also came from work an hour ago, so there were issues.
Okay,
I'm really sorry.
No, that's fine. Did you see what we just did?
Yeah, I'll definitely look back on the video when you
Okay.
upload it just to
With the
catch up.
clipping mask?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure, it's really simple.
Yeah, yeah.
What I love about it is that I can keep painting it out. I can paint, let's paint, I don't know if you can go, let's see, it should be able to do this. Let's see. Okay, so we just painted out. Let's flip this. Yeah, and I can paint it back in. So let's paint it. Wait, let's see. Yeah, I can paint it back in, and let's flip it. Now it's going, it's painting the mask out. So let's go, let's flip. Yeah, it looks like it, yeah, it's painting it back in there. So then let's flip again. Flip again. I don't know why it's going on the back now. I don't know what that is. But actually now I'm painting it back out again. Let's go. So again, this lives, let's go over here real quick. Let's go to channels. Well, that's weird. It doesn't keep it in channels. That's weird. I'll have to look into that. Anyway, simple, correct? Like I'm doing something right now. I'm going to give it a border treatment. This is how I'll do it because I want to cut it out so it has this cool border treatment.
Mhm.
I'll do it this way. Why? It's non-destructive, right?
Right, because it's a clipping mask.
You know, and I could go, I could also go, let's try, let's take this other image. This won't really read that well, but that's all right. And let's get
It's
a
also
big, go ahead.
it's also good for like it's like it gives me an idea of like a vignette pretty much. So
Yeah. But think about this. Like I'm doing this right now. I just said that. But I got, actually the thing we're going to do, I want to give, I might do that kind of edge treatment to it. And it gives me just a really fast way to do like a nice torny edge kind of thing, sort of faded edge. Maybe I could do an overlay of what do you call that? Parchment over it. You know, now it starts to get this sort of old broken edge, old parchment look. Then maybe I turn the whole thing sepia. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
So let's do this. Let's go. This isn't really the boldest type. Usually I'd use a pretty bold type for this, but this is fine. So we could go, this could become our object. This wouldn't be big enough to really show what I want, but it's fine. You know, I'm going to say I want it there. And then I'm going to go, let's, I'm going to rasterize this layer here. Let's put this underneath, hold my option, and there it is, right?
Oh, that's how you do that.
Yeah. And then you can come in here and, you know, make sure that you see the right parts. Now, if I was going to do that, I'd actually use a really bold, fat font so you'd see more, right? And then what's cool is I can come in here and I can go, you know, I could come into here and I can adjust this. So I can go back in and adjust all this stuff in real time on my image as I'm designing it. Does that make sense? Okay, all again, non-destructive stuff, all right? I just like that as a texture and a color, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at that. It's kind of, you don't even need to know that it's a lion. It's just kind of a cool, kind of natural.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it could be bark. It could be
Yep.
a wheat field. I mean, it could be a bunch of things. What does that mean? So I might just use it like that. That's another way I like to think. I like to think abstractly, and I don't like to think, oh, you know, I have to tell everybody it's a lion. I don't. It can just be a texture, right?
Yeah.
It also looks a little bit like flame. Like I might even use this, if I was using this thin a font and I was doing something for a barbecue place, I might use this because it feels a little bit flamey, but not too flamey. That makes sense? Let's see if we can do this. I don't know if you can do this. Let's go to, yeah, you can, I think. Avenir. I'm going to really pull here. So now I have this one. You know, and then I can go back here. It should go good. Don't let me move for some reason. but I should be able to move it and all that. Okay, so I can change the font. I didn't know you could. Make sense?
Yeah.
Because I want to get stuff in here. It's not just illustrators and all that kind of stuff. I want to get stuff in here, and I want to hopefully relate them to different things, okay? If I'm doing my job right. And this is another example why these brushes come in handy. I can just really make nice textural vignetted things and stuff like that, right?
Can I ask you a question? So the bottom edge of the line shows
Yeah.
the line. How would you get rid of that?
The bottom edge of what?
The lion, you see the edge of the line image. There's a line, and then you
Right
see
here?
the dark texture. Yeah.
I think it's just a, because I've been screwing around with it. I think I did something weird with it.
I'm just wondering, could you erase that? or
Yeah,
blend it?
you can go back in, but I think let's go on the mask.
So
For some
there-
reason it's picking up, well, let's see, maybe it's this.
I think it's the edge of the lion picture.
it
Yeah, I
is.
think it is too, actually.
It is the edge of the, yeah. That's better.
So I
Huh.
just moved the mask in.
Okay,
But you can paint them out. You can paint back into it again, okay?
sure.
I
Using
just
that.
did, I
switching-
did something screwy with it at some point, but you can just go back in and paint the edges out or whatever.
yeah. Okay,
Um,
thanks. I just wanted to know.
I just, that's a really handy tool, okay?
That looks neat.
And it could be a whole bunch of things, not just doing vignetted edges or whatever. I mean, you know, just that there's a lot of reasons why that's a handy tool. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to start doing, and I'm going to put, okay, I was going to put it up yesterday, but I didn't get it. It took forever to get it rendered and then get it uploaded. And I didn't want you guys to get it at 9 o'clock at night and think that I expect you to look at it at 9 o'clock at night, a 2.5 hour video. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
And I'd rather start clean. So right after this meeting, I'm going to put that video up because now I've got it all done. I'm going to put up the materials for it. I'll probably put it up before I put today's class video up, just because I want to put that up first so you have the whole day at it to look at it and all that. And then, you know, I'll do my usual, put up the class video and all that. So you just always know that I might be, like yesterday I updated the everyday, because I forgot to put the folder on. So sometimes you might go on there and go, where's the folder at? And it's just, I just forgot and I put it up later. Or I might add something, I might think of something, or I might think of an artist who makes sense with what we're doing and I might add it in there, okay? Does it send you guys an update when I do that? When I update an announcement, does it send you an update?
Like an email update?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do get that.
Okay. Because I'm never sure if I should create a new announcement. What I'm trying to do is contain everything in one announcement for the most part.
I think, yeah, when you do something additional, it'll show up as
Okay,
an
good.
additional
That's,
element.
okay. Because I don't want to put it in there and then you guys are like, I never got it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to we're going to do okay, so this is what this is basically. It's a fat overlaying painting technique, okay? So again, it's just based on oil painting, gouache painting to a certain extent, opaque painting, okay? So what you're doing, the idea is your early passes of color are just washes, okay? Very thin. And then as you move into the light and things like that, it gets thicker and thicker paint. That's the whole concept of fat over lean. Does that make sense? So we're just emulating that technique basically, right? And it's just an extension of what we've just been doing, okay? So the file that I'm going to put in there is going to be this one, okay? That's Fullerton College's former home, by the way, right? It used to be up on a cliff right there. I don't know if you guys knew that. So how I started this was with this, okay? Which I just doodled at breakfast. And then I took that, and I'll put a speed painting up of the black and white process, but I don't want to go too far into that because that's just full on painting. We're going to worry about the color. So I started with this. Does that make sense? Yeah, no? John, yeah.
So you made it
Yes, I'm
grayscale.
giving you thumbs up.
Yes. Yeah, me too.
So what you're going to see in the video, so what I did is the beginning and the end of the video is in real time. The rest of it, I kind of sped it up. What you're going to see is how fast this becomes a color painting. Like it's probably in the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, it starts to look like a painting, okay? Because we're just doing the same kind of thing we've been doing, where I'm gonna go, you know, grab a brush. I like a brush that flows real easily for this, for the first, and all I'm doing in the beginning, let's make sure, oh, and the other thing is, I'll try and change this before. See how that, the mode says grayscale? You have to take it out of grayscale mode, otherwise you can't do color. So what you gotta do is come down here to RGB color, you know, CMYK color. We're gonna do RGB because we're just doing it on screen. CMYK is basically for print, okay? I'm gonna say don't flatten. And I can come up here, grab. Again, it's not gonna matter that much what blue I grab because I'm gonna adjust it, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm just gonna come, oops. Hang on. Yeah. I have to come up here and put this on color. Way down here. Oop. Right, oop, color right there. And then, that's weird, it's not doing its thing, hang on. Let me try. Actually, I usually use this brush. It did this to me the other day where it wasn't doing what it's supposed to. There it goes. There it goes. No? Now, that's obviously too saturated. You see how it's holding the value underneath?
Yeah, it's
Yes?
like it's opaque.
No, it's not opaque. Look.
No, but it looks like it.
Well, it looks like it because you're starting to get fat brushwork and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
That's the trick of it, by the way. You know, and then I can just, and all I'm doing, that's to desaturate that. You know, and I'm just doing big color passes at this point. I'll warm this up because it's rocks. It's not going to stay that warm or light because this is, I'm going to do a night scene of this. You know, and I just come in here. This could be brown. This could be, this water could get tealy. You know, and I just go in and start blocking stuff out. Now, in the one I did, I put some warm light over here so I could light up this little, whatever you call it? Gull, right?
Seagull.
Yeah, seagull. So I put a light source there because I wanted to warm this up here. So I went, okay, let's get a warm. And I'm going to say there's some light out here. You know, maybe it's a beach fire. Who knows? It's a lantern. I don't care. I got some overrun, and then that gives me an excuse to go. This guy. Oops. Oh, why did I get so hot? I'm going to knock this down. I'm going to knock the opacity down a little bit. Wait a minute. I'm going to knock this opacity down a little bit. It shouldn't be doing that. It should just glaze over anyway. Then you'll see, I go through this whole thing in the video.
Mike, is that because you have it on the color mode?
No, color mode should actually just glaze it. I had this trouble yesterday. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. See, like up here it says normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what gives it the opaqueness when you paint on?
No, there is no opaqueness right now. It's just glazing over the I don't know what's going on right now. It's like not letting me do anything right now. It's really weird.
Okay.
Usually there's like a window open somewhere. Hang on. Drives me crazy when Photoshop does this stuff. Let's try it again. So what I'm really wanting to do is have you go through the whole thing today and take a look at it. Then I'm assuming you're going to have questions about it tomorrow. Okay? Because what we're going to do is we're going to start. See, now it's not even giving me the option. It did this. Oh, that's why. It's not giving me the option because I'm not in color. Okay, so now it should give me the option. I'm just going to pick this blue for no reason. So let's see if it's letting me do it. It's going to be a weird color, but who cares? That's too thick, too fast. I don't want a thick oil brush for this yet. See, now it's still opaque. That's really weird. It shouldn't do that. Oh, I got on normal. That's my fault. There it is. So it's just glazing over, okay? So what that's going to do is get my sort of color blocking blocked in, get the canvas color covered fairly quickly. And then what we're going to start doing, and you'll see it in the video, then we're going to start building up opaque layers, okay? So I get the color kind of knocked in very, very quickly in the video, okay? And then I start going, okay, that brown's too light. This is a night scene. I start cooling that down. I start just glazing some bluish tones over it, and it starts cooling it off, and just things like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what we're trying to get to now is a really finished, much more finished idea of color, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you can see up here at some point I want something up here. So I did our little planet thing that we did, and I just made a quick little planet and kind of pushed it behind the clouds, and really spent more time, lighting this up and trying to, and if you notice, I cooled everything down back here around the ship because the ship is lit warmly. So if I kind of surround it with cool tones in here, it helps to pop the warm. Does that make sense? And push the cools back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like framing it.
Yeah, exactly. So I went in at some point, and a lot of this, I literally carved shapes, cool shapes in between these, in between the rigging. It does two things. It breaks up the rigging so it doesn't look too perfect, because rigging doesn't look like that. You almost can't go too crazy with rigging on tall ships. Like if you ever look at one, it's insane how much rigging is on those things. Okay?
I can attest. We just built the ship in Susie Little's class.
Oh, I
and
saw
it was
that.
Nuts. So much stuff.
So, obviously I'm reducing all that because I want it to be painterly, right? Up here. And then I solidified the library a little bit just because, and then I lit it with some blue light and stuff like that. Again, going, this whole section over here is cool. This section in the foreground is warm. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a lot of indication-y stuff. And then, I take this as far as, and the other thing is how that went from that thumbnail to this. I'm going to put that whole process on. I'm just going to put it as a speed painting because I can't get too far into that. That's starting to get too far into digital painting. But this color process, I have the whole process on there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, like things, this is why this to me is, I love this. One of the things I love about it is, again, it lets me, okay, I just screwed up, okay. is it lets me like really work fluidly with my ideas, okay? So in the very beginning of the video for this color thing, I kind of just do a little 30-second part of that process, but I'll put the rest of it up. But if I'm working in black and white, it really lets me just concentrate on the design. Because like I deliberately didn't have a plan for this, okay? I just go, oh, Fulton College used to live on this cliff at a industrial port city a millennia ago or whatever, okay? And that was kind of the idea. I did the doodle, and then it lets me just go very quickly into, you know, and I deliberately didn't have a plan with this because I want to sort of see you see somebody solving problems as they're going, because I'm just constantly solving problems because I had no color comp. I didn't have anything. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This is all just problem solving. Like something's going to happen. You go, well, that's too blue. What do I got to do? That blue doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Because the sky blue and this is so different. It just, on and on and on, right? And you're just solving problems. That's all you're doing, right? Again, I don't expect everybody to take it up to the level I took it up to. If you're more advanced, sure. Now, what I like about this is like, there's this guy who I really like his work. Hang on. I might have already pulled some of this stuff. Hang on. I don't think I did. No, I don't think I did. Okay, good. I'll just pull them up. Okay, whatever. Where the hell's, oh, here it is. They just changed Facebook, by the way. I didn't know that. So let's look at, so this guy, let me see if I can pull this off. This guy does all this stuff with, you know, pencil, watercolor, stuff like that. He's a concept guy or whatever. This kind of thing is like when you have this kind of stuff, and this guy likes working this way. Like he clearly doesn't want to work digitally. I think he does actually work digitally. I'll look real quick and see if I can find it. But he does some stuff that's similar to what we're doing. But it's really easy for me now just to go in here and go, oops, back to my color as a starting point. Now, it might also be my finishing point because these things are so finished out looking that, you know, they're just finished out looking. So, oops, too much. Yeah, it's better. You know, and I'd have to come in here and be a little more careful, but and I could come in here, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that that's a little too green, but I'll change that in a minute. You know, and I can erase this back out because I might want this to be a different color, I don't know. I could erase this out. Maybe come in here and go, this might be screaming red, but we'll see. Oops. And that could be too red, that's fine. I'm gonna drop down the opacity a little bit here. So then I can bounce this color around his eye socket. Oops. You know, maybe he's getting a warm light from over here. And again, soften up that edge. You can see how fast you can start to get a painterly look. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah?
Yes.
Now, so what I'm saying is like people think that like this kind of thing takes forever, and it actually doesn't. And this guy, he uses a lot of Duralar, which is beautiful to draw on if you've ever drawn on that. He's using super old school techniques, so I think it's totally cool. And he does a lot of this. So I'm pretty sure he takes some of these into Photoshop.
What was his name again?
Mike Butkus, and it's Butkus. That must have been a fun name in high school, by the way. Let's see. So he does a lot of this stuff, like this one. Looks like it's a paint. This looks more paint to me, like he did the same thing, only with like watercolor or something, right? But I know he had some in here. Hang on. Damn, this thing is annoying. Yeah. Let me shut this. You know, he's doing a lot of the same techniques we're doing, only he's doing them with glazes of traditional paint, okay? But it's the same thing. Like if you take these things to this level of finish, man, going to color is like actually kind of a piece of cake. I'm trying to find this one he did. Here.
Alf.
See how he's starting with the black and white, starts glazing color over it, goes to finish. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're not doing anything new. We're just doing an old technique in now you can also go in just straight color brushwork, just like that Rutkowski thing. The only reason I'm not going as much into that, the black and white underpainting, this is basically that. But I don't want to go too far into that because everybody's on Digital Painter yet, so that's fine. I'm trying to find this one thing you did. This is a really good example of the same technique using traditional materials. So he had the underdrawing, and then he went in with this watercolor and just tinted the drawing, and it looks super finished out. And then he actually, I think he also put a little dye over that because dye is more saturated. So if you want to saturate certain parts, you hit it with dye. Okay? So the only reason I'm talking about all this stuff is I want you to understand the underlying, this isn't me making this up. This is just old traditional techniques brought into the digital area. Okay, hang on. I'm trying to find this. I know he did this because I saw it before. How cool this is. You know what? If I can't find it right now, I'll find it and I'll link it. Because I think he had a really, I think it was like a board game or something he did the illustration for. He photoshopped his drawing just like we're doing, basically. But I'm not seeing it. So. Sorry, it's taking me so long. Yeah, I can't find it. Oh well. I'll find it and I'll give it to you guys. Okay. All right. So, hang on. Does all that make sense now?
Yeah, so far.
I have a question, Mike.
Yeah.
The line drawing, didn't you say that should be the top layer?
Yes.
Okay, it looked like you had it on the bottom.
Okay, so this one is a little different. Actually, that's a good question. Because I'm not, I'm not doing a purely line. That's not a line drawing. It's all tonal, right? So let's go. Oh, it's over here. This is all tonal, right?
Can you
So I
share your
can't
screen,
really-
Mike?
Huh?
Can
Oh,
you share your
sorry.
screen, Mike? No, no worries.
This is purely tonal. It's not a line drawing. Okay, so that's a really good question. So we're actually going, and here's what you want to do. You want to go right away. Once you put this in your layers, you want to, and it's already on background, so it's locked. You want to go here and lock that layer so you never paint on it. You don't want to paint on that layer. That just stays, you leave it alone, right? So what we're doing is instead of, with a line drawing, there's a lot of open space for us to paint into. With this, there is no open space to paint into because it's a fully tonal painting, right? Black and white painting. So it's a little different, okay? So you're gonna go lock your layer, put your color layer on top, your first layer, and that you're gonna drop down to your color mode and you're just gonna glaze color and start to figure out color. Does that make sense?
Is the baseline on multiply or normal?
Color. So you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
So color is way down here. There's normal, there's color. Does that make sense?
Okay, got it.
Just put an empty layer on top and put it on color. And that's where you start. And by the way, when I start this stuff, it's really, and by the way, you don't have to use the same color scheme I do. You could make that planet red and then the red affects everything. It could be way more crazy color if you're comfortable with it, okay? The reason I give you this to go, so you can look at what I'm doing and go apples to apples. If I go here, just paint this, then when you're learning it, I think it's easier to go apples to apples. And then if you notice here, there's some fat brush work right there where it goes into the light, okay? But, so if I come in here and I go, I'm gonna paint. Just, you know, start painting these brownish. Hang on. Now I know that's way too warm for this environment, but see how it instantly starts to look like a painting? Does that make sense?
Yes.
I mean, instantly, right? Why? Because all the brushwork's already there. I'm going to add to it, but it's already there. And what I like about that technique is, you guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
What I like about that technique is it gets me excited about the illustration of the painting faster. Like when you're painting, you know, like I've been out plein air painting before and people come up, and when you start a plein air painting or a traditional painting, depending on how you're doing it, when I'm just going direct in a la prima or whatever, it looks like crap to the average eye at the beginning. They're like, ugh. And I've had people do that when I'm out plein air painting, and I go, you got to come back in an hour and it will start to look like something. But this, I can go, boom, I put color on it, all of a sudden it starts to look like I'm painting, which gets me excited, okay? So I got all the, you know, let's say that I come in here. Yeah, no, I know why. Wait, this should be at 72, let's see.
I was gonna ask why you have such delay. Is that possibly?
Oh, it's at 300, that's why.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm gonna knock it. The one I'll give you guys is I'll give it to you at 72, but it'll still be big enough where you can play with it. Well, let's go. I mean, that's what it is up close, right? Just a bunch of abstract nonsense. Okay. Okay. See, it's still big enough. It's fine. So if I come in here, on that layer, I'm going to start figuring this out. But then I'm going to go, okay, I got this bluish up here. I want to cool off these rocks a little bit. You know, and I might go, okay, that's a little too blue. And you got to remember, colors are intermingling here. So I might go with a more saturated blue that I normally wouldn't, because why? It's going to sit over that burnt sienna looking color, and then they're going to kind of cancel it out, because burnt sienna is basically an orange, and orange and blue are complements, so they're going to knock each other down. Okay, but I'm getting too much of the, so I could do this too, look. I could go, okay, on the shadow side, I'm going to put this bluish thing. And instead of like adjusting the color right now, maybe I don't want to do that. I'm just going to go back over to my sponge tool and go desaturate. And just start to gray those out a little bit. So I start to get these like nice gray. Then I'll go back and forth. I'll knock down this orange too, or this burnt sienna-ish color. So I've got to get it where it's more feeling like night at some point. And then what I do throughout this, does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
What I do throughout this thing is I create my own lighting. Like with the ship or whatever, I go, well, it needs to light up, but I can't. What's happening here basically is, for me, is you've got a very strong foreground. Hang on. You've got this foreground element here. Right there, okay? So you've got this shape. Then you've got this middle ground area. Then you've got this land mass back here that's the third area. So you really have three shapes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mhm.
So what I got to try and do is make sure that's always separating, okay? So you'll see throughout the video that I'm talking about making sure, you know, so it's kind of like your eyes going here and then like that, basically. So I'm constantly balancing that. We're going, you know, and I'd still play with it more and everything, but there was a point where I go, okay, I have to finish this at some point. And I probably will go in and play with it more. You know, I love to go back. Okay, so then another thing I do that I don't know if I mentioned in the video or not, I will, at certain points in this thing, I'll go, okay, I got all these layers, and I don't want to deal with those right now because I got a couple ideas. I'll export, I'll save as, I'll drop it on the desktop out of my folder usually because I just want to make sure it's separated. And I'll export a JPEG, and then that JPEG is going to be flattened because it's a JPEG. Then I'll go in and I'll just paint over it and start trying some things. Then I'll go, okay, this is working. I'll go back over to my other file, right? And then towards the end of this, or no, somewhere in this process, I'll go, okay, I got a ton of layers, which I do on purpose because I want to really control everything. I'll go, okay, it's far enough along now where I'm never gonna lose the original file, the original layered file, but I'll generate another PSD. I'll do a save as and generate version 12 or whatever it is. And then I'll flatten that one. And because now I just want to paint over it. But then I'll start creating more layers, and at some point I'll go, okay, that's all good. Save as, I'll do another flattened, you know, version of it and start new layer, and on and on and on. And then at the very end, I generate the last one, which is like, okay, here's my last flat one. I'm just going to go over and start just dancing paint over it, hitting lighting, saturating things, you know, just all that stuff that's easier to do if it's all down to one layer. But I never lose that trail of layers, okay? I never lose that, okay? And if you manage this correctly, what's really smart is if you put the ship on one layer, the foreground rocks on another layer, the bird maybe, and then that whole landmass in the back is one layer. So then you can, as you're doing it, you can adjust those values right off the bat to make them. Like I darkened that front foreground thing quite a bit, okay? And then I warmed it all up because I go, I want some kind of warm, dramatic lighting in the foreground because I want to light that bird, okay? So, you know, at the end, you know, the bird gets lit kind of nice in there, right? It gets a little bit of that hot light. Something's back here. Also, little things like this little stream of water. All this stuff is suggested, okay? I'm just finding it as I'm doing it. But I noticed that this bird could be sitting on a little bit of a water thing right here, or a little pool, you know, puddle of water. And I had this blue up here, and I go, well, this should keep trickling down behind this, and then that's what's feeding that little pool of water he's sitting in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I discovered that way down the painting. I'm like, well, there could be on this side of that rock, you know, a big wave could hit that every now and then and spills water over it, and then it floats down over the all the rocks, right? And I like all this texture right here, right? That's what I want that stuff to look like, okay? And I'll put the black and white speed painting up. I'm not going to narrate it or anything about it because I don't really, it is what it is. I'm just making shapes. I'm just making rough marks. But like you can see that like the brushwork and all that stuff feels nice and organic. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I probably used 3 brushes for this whole thing. So what I want you guys to come away from that, because I have a lot of class, you notice a lot with students, like in digital drawing, I always notice this. I go, hey, I'm going to give you guys my brushes. What, brushes? We're going to get brushes? Like everybody thinks it's about the brushes, and it's like, it's not about the brushes. Like everybody's not using 300 brushes. They're going, I like these 4. And then once in a while you need a specially brushed grade, it's great to have it. Or I want to do a watercolor wash, and I got that brush. That's great. But it's not about the brushes. It's not about the technology. It's not about any of that crap. It's about how you use these things, okay? Anybody can come in here and fart around and make one of these things. This means it's going to be good, okay? Does all that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting into the good shit, huh?
I think we just have to work with it now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And look, again, I don't expect everybody to become a digital painter overnight or anything. And I also want you to keep your mind open, like we just talked about the vignetting and thinking about the edges and all that stuff with that clipping mask.
Mm-hmm.
You know, think about those things. This is all just artistic thinking, design thinking, that kind of stuff, right? Forget about the technology. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter what it is, okay? Somebody should be able to give you a burnt stick and you can make something out of it. You can make something out of it, right?
Yeah.
Or paper, you can cut things up and do something cool with it, or whatever, right? God, that just remind me, I got another thing I got to do. Okay, questions?
So Mike, quick question. If we're gonna also go into coloring the grayscale painting, can we try a gradient map to start off and
Oh,
then?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But I would probably go into certain sections with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could come in here and like I do this kind of stuff all the time where it's like, let's see. So let's just go. I'm just going to fill this. And I might come in here and go, I mean, there's so many ways to approach this. And I might just see if I can find a cool, like even that's kind of cool. But like if I wanted to go with more of a red idea or something, I'm going to go up to my contrast here. Let me see if I can push it up a little bit. You know, maybe I knock this down a little bit. But then my planet that's up here, maybe I make that a really hot red sort of Mars-like planet. So now I got an excuse for this whole thing to be bathed in red light. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then, you know, then maybe I don't know if this will work. Let's try this. I don't know if I can do a color over this. And then maybe I make it all about that's a little, let's try this. You know, I can go in and start making all this stuff cooler. And that's a little saturated, I desaturate it. Maybe I throw all this stuff into like cool wherever there's shadows or whatever. And then, you know, go to an opaque layer and go oops, and start lighting these things up to start get a warm and cool idea. Actually, it should go red. Hang on. You know, and I'll knock it back. I'm starting off screaming saturated, but I'll knock it down. And then I'm going to go to my source of light, which will be a little hotter. You know, and then that is going to start to go, okay, if I got light like that, then I can start to spill some light out here. This is going to go, obviously the water will go cooler. You know, and then I'm going to have to go back to this layer, the color layer, and take my sponge tool on desaturate, and I'm going to desaturate that blue. It's too blue. This depends on how much you want it to be. But see how it just automatically starts looking like a painting? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just think, I love that. I just love it because I can really get into the exploring. Whenever I'm making these things, I really feel like I'm there. And I just like that you're God for a while and you can go, there's that building should be sitting on a cliff and you can make that happen. You know, there should be ships and there should be, and it should be all this crap, right? You notice there's another little ship back there that's like turning, right?
Yeah.
The reason I did that is because I go, this is what I think about at night, by the way. I was sitting in bed, or I was going to sleep, and I go, oh, wait a minute. There's no dock for this ship, because the idea here is this is like an old industrial port town, right? There's no dock there. So then I go, oh, that's just a little cove. There's a lot of ships out here waiting to get into this, you know, line up and get into the port or whatever, but the port's actually around the other side. That's why I put a ship there, right? And this is just a little cove where he's waiting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I got to go in and start going, I got to put a dock in here. And then I go, okay, he's close to shore, which means that this cliff line just goes straight down into the water, and it's deep there. It's still deep, even though it's close to shore, right? Like, I have to think about all that stuff, okay? But, and then in here now, over here, in the other one, I did a warm thing. So maybe here, I could find a cooler color. This is probably going to be way wrong, but let's just try it. Let's go back to our layers. Let's go to a color layer. So I'm just trying a bunch of stuff, to be honest. That's not, oh, that's normal. Hang on. Oh, that's why I'm on desaturate. Let's go to our brush. Go bigger. Yeah, I can start to put a little cool light in there. Maybe this guy catches cool light over here, right? Maybe I go with the opposite color scheme. And then my rock textures are going to get picked up because it's on color, and they're not just going to cool him off a little bit. You know, and I can start to build an idea out of that. Does that make sense? And then I would go, this is what I would do. Let me do this real quick. What's this? Hang on. I'll do this real quick. I'm going to pull this and see if I can do this. No, that's not. That's let's go. is I want to give it a light source. This is actually important. So, yeah, maybe I can get it from here. Hang on. Oops. Where'd it go? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to grab this. So I'm rating my old assets, which I actually think is really smart to do. Oops, wrong damn file. Hang on. Okay, now another thing I did here, I don't know if you guys ever seen that Earthrise photo. This is what I'm talking about cataloging things in your head. There's a photo taken of Earth from the moon when it's rising or whatever, but the whole bottom of it fades out. It's really cool looking. So I faded the bottom of this, right? But I could take this now and go, okay, maybe that's my light source. So maybe I push it into some warmer idea. Like that kind of color scheme right there is Frazetta-like. He does a lot of that kind of stuff. I could even make it cool if I wanted to, but there. And saturate it. Maybe brighten it. Darken it. I could even double these on top of each other maybe. Yeah, it's a little brighter. So on and so forth. Does that make sense? So now we're starting to combine the ideas, right? Now, what most people do with this now is they go, I'm gonna go make a stamp brush of a moon. It's like, okay, well, what if it's not Earth? You know what I mean? Make your own stuff. You know, there's a place for the stamp brush and stuff. That's great and all that. But what I want you guys to get into is your own image creation, whether it's through painting or graphic design. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I like it better pushed back like that. Maybe behind. Maybe way up there. That's kind of cool. So I see fading it out at the bottom gives it a different idea, right? So I can just take my eraser, take a really soft brush. Let's put it on the moon planet or layer. Get this, put the opacity way down. And just carve out as much of that as you want, okay? So it just gives you a different way to handle the planet. There's probably a million ways to handle that. Does that make sense? Everybody's good? Okay. Hang on, let me go. So this could be the start of another color scheme. Like I love doing this kind of stuff. And also if I was doing this for somebody or something like that, I'm gonna go down a bunch of rabbit holes based on what I've been told, but I'm gonna go down a lot of rabbit holes as to different color schemes and lighting, and this can help me just break out of my own thinking. Does that make sense? And I always wanna break out of my own thinking. Otherwise we're just playing patterns over and over again. We do the same thing over and over. It's hard to break out of your patterns, okay? So one thing I like about this class is I learn a lot of tools and stuff that normally I'd be like, I don't care about that, but I have to learn it to show it to you guys. And I go, wow, this is great, you know, or some new technique or something like that. Another thing, when you get towards the end or whatever, you got it flat and you go, man, that boat should be this color. Maybe you go in with your color replacement tool now and go, I'm gonna kind of shift that color a little bit. Maybe you should get a little bluer on the bottom, you know, where it's catching all the blue light, blue water reflections going into the hull and all that stuff, okay? Now I want to play with this, but so anyway, you can see how simple it is when you have such a strong underdrawing, underpainting, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And like a lot of times, like I like to work on paper, you know, and I can pull something together, you know, almost to this level of finish pretty fast. And even to this level of finish, it doesn't take me that long. Because, you know, using the side of the pencil, you're covering a lot of area very quickly, okay? So, and then if I start with this, man, I'm going to end up with a killer painting, right? It's all about that. And then you could just go straight in with color. You can do that too. That's fine. If I did that, though, this would become a straight up digital painting class, and I don't want to do that. Okay? That's not what this class is. Okay. Questions? So everybody's got it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what I want you to do today, I don't really expect a whole lot tomorrow. What I want you to do today is go look at that. And again, I don't care how long I need videos. Actually, 2.5 hours, I don't think is that long. But because you can scrub through parts of it. And you're going to see that it's that long because I'm just decision making through it. And again, after the initial pass, it speeds up. Then at the end, I slow it down again. And I did that because you're seeing the beginning idea. You don't lose anything by going faster anyway. That's why I never did it before, but you actually don't really lose much. And I'll put up the speed painting thing of the black and white process of this too. Yeah?
Okay, good.
What else? And play with your clipping mask and play with your replacement tool, color replacement tool a little bit. I just want you to fiddle around with that. And then what I expect tomorrow is I just expect questions, you know, about this process. And then we're going to, is tomorrow, no, tomorrow's Wednesday, right?
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Ah, shit.
I know.
Which will be good about that is that I want to talk this all through tomorrow, because as you go into the weekend, I want you to really burrow into this. So make sure that you have your questions tomorrow. Okay? Yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yes.
John, hang on.
Yes, sir.
I think this kind of stuff is good to talk about in class.
Oh,
So
we did have a lot of the crap, but these are some of the better ones, I thought.
well, everybody has a lot
Some
of
of 'em.
crap when they do this.
Well, yeah, that's what thumbnails are for, to weed out the crap.
Exactly. So it's just a space theme, basically.
It's space with a little bit of technology.
By the
as,
way, the first pass
emphasis.
I would do after I got a couple that I'm going, I think it's gonna be that one. I do the gradient map thing on just get instant color.
Yeah, I'm going to try that next. A couple of these are a little more well-defined. A couple I didn't because I gave up. I didn't like them so much.
I like this composition. I like this.
Yeah, those two I liked. And
There's something I like about this, but it might be a little too symmetrical.
okay, I tried to do like a mining thing and just focus on the damage it's doing because we as humans love to destroy things.
Sure.
And then I kind of like that weird circle thing on the bottom left.
This one?
Yeah, to give like a gravity sense. Everyone always has those spinning wheels, so I tried to design some gyro-looking thing.
Oh, okay. Make sure you're. I know these are thumbnails, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I didn't use the circle.
Man,
in it. Those are all freehand.
I'd be all over looking at that Berkey stuff for inspiration for this.
That's where I got the top one with the little guy fixing in the middle.
This one?
Yeah, that's where that one totally I took from that stuff you put up, the reference.
Yeah,
It's like
then you just jump off. If you notice, what is it that it makes it look like that? It's just a bunch of random looking stuff.
Yeah.
But it has to be believable. You got to have that level of, because what people always do, and it drives me crazy, is I give them an assignment. Let's say it's this, and I go, "Hey, I want the space thing," and then they come back, and it looks really childish. You know what I mean? And I go, "Did you look at any reference?" No. It's like, okay, so this is why it looks childish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not looking at anything. Like, I'm not saying it. And by the way, when I look at reference, I look at it, I gulp in a bunch of information. It's the logic, okay? I'm looking at the logic. Like, if I throw sea foam, like I did in that sea thing, all I'm going to look at sea foam for is go, what does it exactly do? Oh, it spiders, it thins out, and then it gathers. Okay, that's all I need. I don't want to look at it anymore, because then I'll start copying photography. I don't want to do that, right?
Yeah.
I want to get the logic of the language, right? So then you go, well, there's a lot of this and a lot of that. Okay. And then there's this kind of big shape, and you know, it looks very random. I mean, if you look at those pictures from the space station that I gave you guys, or linked or whatever it was, that could, I mean, if you took people out of that and put that, if I took that technology and I sort of kit bashed it together, it could look like the insides of an oven. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look like anything until you put it in space, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that thing was
Or-
sitting in the junkyard, you'd go, that's just junk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By the way, that space station's the size of a football field. Do you know that?
I was wondering how big that thing is. It's
Football field.
That's crazy.
And what pisses me off is SpaceX just launched that Crew Dragon. Those guys have been up there for like a month.
Right.
It's really exciting, you know, and because of all this nonsense that's going on here, nobody even cares. You know what I mean?
I know.
I mean, those guys are killing it, man. They're spacewalking. It's a new space vehicle. It's super exciting. I love the space program.
New outfits too.
Yeah.
They got sleeker design, so it's not that bulky NASA.
And you know what I love about it? Everything looks super industrial design. By the way, where's Ian? Is Ian here?
Yeah.
Have you looked at that, dude?
See, I've seen exactly what you're talking about. The suits as well. They're like so much cleaner.
Yeah, they're super industrial design. So's the Crew Dragon. So's the interior. All that stuff. You know what I mean?
I got to visit SpaceX my high school year, actually through Troy, and it was like crazy.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I mean, yeah, it's insane. You know what was really cool? This is the kind of stuff that I loved about Art Center. You know, I might even be able to find pictures of it. Somebody's got to have pictures of it out there. Let's see. Hey, Elon, don't worry about being late. I don't care. You're always on time. I don't care about that.
Yeah, this will be a one-time thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Oh, did you figure out your illustration thing?
You mean the class?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of doing basic design with Todd and digital drawing with you this semester, just because it's more spread out and it
Yeah,
works better with work. Yeah.
What I was saying, Ian, is so you do, Ian, you there?
Yep.
You do a senior project at Art Center. What I did mine with Universal Studios, and they basically just run you through a real project. And I was working with this senior creative guy, VP guy, Phil Hedema, and super scary because it's first time. You know, he brings in his real team. It's just like a real world job. But anyway, in the senior product design or transportation design program, they brought in they were redesigning the cockpit for like some commercial aircraft, like one of those big commercial aircraft for like Boeing, right? They brought the plane there and they mounted the plane to the side, like half of the front of the plane. They mounted, or not half, the front part, and they mounted it outside. So in the studio, you could walk right into the cockpit, and they designed this whole cockpit. And and it all has to be functional. It's not bullshit. It's not just aesthetics. It's got to be functional. And then when they got done with that thing, man, it looked like a finished. I mean, it was insane because I think I just got there and I was like, holy crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds awesome. Yeah.
Oh my God. It was just, and then they were designing, the product guys were designing satellites with JPL, because JPL is right there. It's right by them. And they just did something, just like in the last year, they did something with JPL. It's just like they do amazing stuff there. You know, amazing stuff.
Like Raytheon is in Fullerton as well.
Is it? I think Raytheon has a presence all over the place.
Yeah, but I got to go there once, and like it was a pretty cool facility too. They had like a lot of like actual like products and stuff that they've done, like engines and shit. You know, just like it was really cool to see.
You know what I love about product design and industrial design, or you know, they're both the same. In transportation design, they're so pure design. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's all organic.
Yeah, but it's just like it's not. Like, it's different when people go, I want to do entertainment design because they're like, I want to draw Marvel characters and crazy universes, and my thinking's more like, or look at this super bitchin' camping stove that they got at REI that somebody designed the living crap out of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I love all that.
That's what turns me on. Like, go to REI, dude.
Yeah, no,
REI,
I know.
I don't care if you care about camping. There is such cool product design in that place.
Yeah, absolutely. I what do you call it? One of my friends, you know that brand Snow Peak?
Yes.
Yeah, my friend bought one of those like dome tents. And
Yeah.
it's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about all that, and then that actually opened my world up a lot to that like design of camping equipment and everything. It was,
Yeah.
you know,
Go to REI. Like every time, because Frank and me both love product design. Every time I go to REI, I'm like taking pictures of shit, sending Franco, look at this. You know, it might just be a carabiner, but it's like, look how they designed that thing. You know, that's the stuff gets me all riled up. You know, that and illustration and all that, and entertainment design's fun and all that. I get it, but there's something about the real world, solving real world problems. I don't know. There's something about that. You know, I don't know. Anyway, and I like that you're on that path. I wish that we could meet face to face. I'd like to take you over there and show you around.
No, I know. I'd like to as well. Next semester too, I'm taking the Maya class with Frank.
Great.
And I'm gonna take the fundamentals of drafting in the SolidWorks class that's available.
Who's doing that?
I gotta double check. It wasn't Frank though.
Oh no, but it's in our program, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then just make sure. Have you talked to Frank?
No, I haven't spoken to him personally. Imagining I was going to sign up for this class and send him a message is what I signed up for. Yes,
send him a message because I've told him about you.
Yeah. What should I just say? Like, hey, you know, like I'm coming into the class trying to do industrial.
Yeah, tell him, just go, hey, Mike told me to email you. I'm interested in industrial design. I'm interested in product design. And he'll know exactly because I've already told him. And he gets all excited about the same as I do. And then just go, hey, I'm going to take Maya, but like, is that a Fusion 360 class you're talking about?
The Maya class?
No, the other one you were talking about.
It was SolidWorks under the drafting section, not the Dart section.
Okay, I would talk to Frank about that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that SolidWorks is a good solution. Maybe it is.
Okay.
But I would probably look at Fusion 360. Talk to him. That's more his area.
I will definitely ask him that then.
Because the thing with Fusion is that Fusion is sort of a little more, from my understanding, a little more artistically driven, where you're sort of building the model or whatever, but at the same time you're building the CAD information into it. Whereas I started learning SolidWorks, and this is 100 years ago. And at some point I go, screw this. I didn't have to learn it. I was just doing it. I'm like, this is, and it's probably way better now. I mean, this is a long time ago. Yeah. But there's two different minds now. And when I look at things like Fusion 360, I go, that's allowing the designer to hold on to the production of that product much longer, because you can go in and go, oh, and it'll do a lot of stuff where it'll go, it needs a flange here. It needs this. Or you can do the testing in it where you can go, if I put 300 pounds of force on those handlebars, they snap, and I need to know that, right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. Talk to Frank about that before you commit to that class. Make sure that that's the right one.
Yeah, I'm going to do that literally right now. I'm doing that.
Okay, great. Because I want you to get a conversation going with him too, because both of us are, we like product and have made product and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you do that. And it's really important that you're constantly talking to us about your path. I don't want you taking classes that you don't need.
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
Or wasting your time. Like it seems like you have a forward motion thinking going on. I want you to be in forward motion.
I got a pretty clear path, but I'd like to talk to you a little bit more. Obviously, I don't want to waste everyone else's time.
Okay, but so let's schedule next week. Let's schedule an offline Zoom. I still have office hours, only they're just on Zoom, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Same thing. Once we're on campus, though, I don't give a crap when you come into my office. Okay, I have office hours, but I'm there all the time. So anytime you want to come in, just come in. If I don't have a class, we'll talk. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, John.
Yeah.
So we're saying I like this one.
Okay.
Probably have to. Well, that's pretty fantastic. That fantastic it up.
Yeah, these are all just kind of placeholder bases. Some of them's just gibberish, so I know eventually it'll be stuff.
I think the thumbnail should be gibberish. I think they should just be for your process, for your idea process.
Yeah, some of them I started to tweak out, but that's because I liked them.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I like that one. There's something here, but I think if that was like put off over here at an angle, maybe. So it's not just dead center like that. Maybe it's like over here and tilted a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Fantastic planet behind it. I was just thinking about this yesterday. Obviously, you've seen Frazetta, right?
Oh, yeah. He was one of my first faves.
He would do the weirdest. I was thinking about that yesterday, and I think he kind of invented it. That weird juxtaposition of like Viking warriors, and all of a sudden like a weird planet behind it,
Yeah, it was like space, but
but like
barbarians.
Viking,
Yeah,
like it
and
was
Viking.
a
Yeah,
barbarian.
yeah,
He just had such a weird mind, you know what I mean? Where you look at it and you go, I remember seeing that stuff when I was a kid, and I was just like, that is so weird. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's such a weird, you know. And now it's gonna go completely out of fashion now because it's always, you know, buxom women and all that kind of stuff, you know.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's
he had
like
a
I
very
always tell people,
specific
because somebody said that to
female
me, and I
type.
go, have you seen the guys in his paintings? They're the same thing.
Yeah, it's all fantastic. It's not
I
like,
know, yeah, exactly. It's
yeah,
fantastic. Okay.
it's not supposed to be everyday Joes.
Right. I always say that. I go, you know, really? Do you want to see Schlubby Mike in a Frazetta painting? No, you don't. Oh, this one's cool too.
Yeah, I kind of like that one, like a weird power thing or something on it.
The
With
only thing you got to be careful of there is you don't drop into Death Star surface.
Okay, yeah. I was trying to make it more like a city, like we had established life on some planet. And then
Yeah.
that bottom left one, it's hard to see in the thumbnail, but I made like kind of like city lights, like on the planet, like you see from the space on the dark side of Earth. The bottom one, with the cylinder, or I'm sorry, the circles.
The bottom one down here?
Yeah, the left one though.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, on the planet, I kind of made like when the Earth is in dark, you can see all the city lights. So I made it so we're kind of like established in little ships coming back and forth, so it has some movement. I'd probably change the planet in the background. I don't know. I kind of dug that one and the two you were saying.
I got a weird. Anyway, I'm curious. Hang on, I want to show you something real quick.
For sure.
And I know I go on these tangents, but oh well.
No, it helps, especially for this. Like I kind of have some ideas. I just want to see how to plus them or fix anything that's wrong compositionally, and then I'll take a few of them down the rabbit hole and see how I like them.
Like, I was looking at these the other day. Hang on.
I was using a lot of that Berkey or however you say it, the guy you
Berkey.
introduced to us. Yeah, that's phenomenal stuff for this inspiration.
Oh my God, his stuff just is this. His stuff's a shit, man.
I did notice because he's a little bit older, a lot of the styles of the stuff look like boats.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, like modern day objects for back then.
Yeah, they look like yachts, like super yachts. Right?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, like yachts and stuff. You can see the design process in there. So that's something I haven't really worked out on my ships. They're just kind of placeholders.
Well, they said that he really wasn't all that into science fiction or anything.
And I'm not either, so I'm struggling with it a little, but they're inspirational.
You know what it is to me? It goes back to that same idea of just design. Like, I don't really care what it is. I just like designing stuff.
Yeah.
And then some, you know, painting it and all that kind of stuff.
I get
So it's
stuck
not-
in either the purpose of the design or looking cool.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah. That one's sick.
Like, people don't know that he worked on Star Wars a little bit, and then he got in some kind of contract dispute and couldn't do it anymore, or whatever it was.
Yeah, you can totally see, like, that looks like a Death Star in the background.
It is. So he did some work on it, but then he was doing some work on, it's really weird. I think he was doing work on, like, Battlestar Galactica or something. They were like, no, wait a minute. You guys are copying Battlestar Galactica. It's super weird, which is completely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's all those NDAs and.
But again, there's a bunch of
Like, can't
abstraction
do that
back
stuff.
here. I just love this brushwork. And look at that. Look at that flame.
Yeah, that's cool.
Really
And
draws the eye.
This is Ralph. What, Elan?
Oh, I just say it really draws the eye.
Oh my God. And then look at McQuarrie's is way more smoothed out, you know.
Super
Yeah.
polished.
Yeah, I like this, man. I mean, I love Ralph McQuarrie too, but
Oh yeah, nothing wrong with it.
no, it's great. But and then here's the kit bashed version of it, which is super not interesting. Right? So they say that this got inspired by this. All of it got inspired by this. Then McQuarrie kind of did this, and this I think was before any of it, right?
Yeah.
This looks very 50s sci-fi to me.
Oh, very.
The model.
hmm Hey, all
Look
this
at that.
stuff.
Look at all the texture he put on the surface.
Yeah, that's wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I can just stare at that all day.
It's
Yeah.
not really a thing, but it's so many things.
Right.
By the way, that's probably mostly dry brush. Like you probably just dragged a dry brush initially and then did some clean lines over it and some bigger shapes. And it's just mostly texture. I bet you if you find a high res version of it.
I feel
Yeah.
like he also did some scaling as well.
Oh, he does a lot of that. Oh, his whole thing is brush and scale.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
might
that's
have taken
something-
a curve and went, you know.
That was another thing I was trying to incorporate with the spaceships, give a little bit of scale, so some smaller ones, some bigger ones, but
And here's your warm, cool again. See that?
That looks cool.
definitely. Even
This
the
is
whites on the
calm. That's
characters are
calm.
warm.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that one a lot.
I like his comps because his comps you can really see how he thinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's a fucking monster. You know, I wish I could have met him because he just looked like this super normal Midwestern guy, you know.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, I agree with you that one. Although I might make sure that this shape isn't kind of the same size shape as that planet,
Hmm.
right? You there?
Yeah, I will. I was trying to keep a motif of like circles, but I'll move it up so they're not the same exact.
You
angle.
want a variety of shapes, right?
Yeah.
One more thing, and then I'll leave it alone.
No, go for it. It's all clicking.
Let me see if I can find this real quick.
Yeah, I totally drew like one of our own planets with the rings, so it's I wasn't sure about that either.
Like, I love the way he approaches this kind of stuff because he takes such a different approach to it, to his shape language, right?
Okay, yeah.
You know, if you squint down, man, these are big masses and it's not really that, I mean, it's complicated in a sense, but it's not in another sense, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
There's one in particular I'm trying to find. If I can't find it, the hell with it.
Yeah, my other spaceships were just kind of designed on whatever. I'll figure them out. But this one I wanted to design on the whole gravity, how they always have it spinning to make gravity inside.
Look at that one.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's a cross between a yacht and a motorhome.
Cross between a yacht and all that random space shit like we just saw at the space station.
Yeah. All the details get more spacey, but yeah, the basic shapes, you're like, oh, it's a mobile park with some yachts docked in.
I love this one too. I was going to show you guys this one. Oh, shit. I always find small pictures of this for some reason.
Yeah,
Oh,
I saw
those
that one
things,
too. That's really cool.
That's so bad. If you look at this, find a high-res image of it. I think I have a high-res image of it. Go into this right here, this part. There's nothing in there but just random abstract shapes.
Yeah, all implications, nothing
Oh my
detailed.
God, it's just the coolest shit. That's my favorite stuff, man. Like all that indication-y stuff is my favorite stuff. This is just one thing I want you to see. This isn't it, but this is another badass one. This one.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
That's a comp, by the way. That's also a comp.
Oh, jeez.
And if look at that.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
just
funny because
one of
that's what the Luxor's design like inside now.
Mm-hmm.
That's your yacht right there.
Yeah, exactly. That one was a yacht. There's another one that's total yacht.
I think I read something about him where they said he was more interested. This is super bitching right there.
Oh, I didn't see that one. That's cool.
Warm, cool.
Definitely.
One thing, though, I'd say about this, and maybe this planet is supposed to be super close, it feels almost on the same plane as the ship. That makes sense?
Yeah, it's just barely overlapping is the only reason you know they're not the
I think
same.
that's one where I do that fade at the bottom, and I'd probably knock the whole thing down a little bit, although I don't think nobody's allowed to critique Berkey, really. Yeah. Yeah, I can't find it. It's perfect for what you're doing. The problem with these, you got to be careful, man, because you're looking for inspiration, but you don't want to just start ripping them off completely, you know?
Yeah, no, I would glance, I'd get an idea, and then I'd
That's
put
what
it
I do.
away.
I just
put it away and forget it.
or I look at it over my morning coffee and then, just get inspired.
Yeah, but not while I'm drawing. I don't go back and forth and look.
No, I don't either.
I'll memorize what I need to and then break away so I forget it.
Super influenced by it.
Yeah, hopefully I don't. That's the plan.
That's why I just don't look at things while I'm drawing or whatever. And most of it I'm drawing on my head anyway. So
Yeah. I also I watched a video of somebody speed painting. They would take an image that has nothing to do with what they're drawing, but it has the colors they want.
Or
So
sometimes
they'll
I'll
use
take
it
it
as
and use it as a textural starting point.
Yeah, exactly. Like it would be of a desert palace and they're doing a spaceship. So it's just for the color palette.
Yeah, I think Craig Mullins does a lot of that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It keeps you from drawing what's in the picture, but gives you good ideas.
Again, it's I can't find it, but I'll find it later. It's pattern recognition.
Yeah, if you find it, send it to me. Ramjet.
Well, it's looking at a cloud and seeing a unicorn. It's the same thing. And
yeah,
me, that's the way I like to work. You know what I mean? I don't want to know exactly what I'm doing. I want to kind of know where I'm going, but that's it.
Yeah, get some ideas and then build from there.
Yeah, just like sort of let a lot of things present itself to me, and then that's it.
Yeah, like you said, ooh, that would be cool if this had that or whatever, and you just start riffing.
It just sort of happens organically once I'm maybe an hour into it, then my brain starts to warm up.
Yeah, it's like jamming on the guitar versus
It's
playing a song.
It's exactly that. You played that, ooh, I'll play this.
Yeah. You start riffing with the other bandmates.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things I like about, whether it's whatever kind of painting it is or drawing it is, whatever it is, I try and let that happen all the time. I try and set it up so that happens, bunch of loose lines and stuff. And then I go, oh, there's the eyes right in there. And I start pulling it out of there, that just works better for me. Anyway, I would do this one. I'd probably work up that one.
Your screen's gone again.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, just like 3 or 4 you like, and that'll work from there.
I would work this one, this one, this one, and maybe this one.
Get some different angles on it.
If I was going to do this one, I might go with like kind of the old spacey 50s sci-fi fantastic stories kind of cover.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
Like a chandelier to me. It'd be cool like if you had like beads or something like that. You know what I mean?
Have what?
Like that one on the right, the spaceship one. It kind of reminds me of like a chandelier.
Yeah, I try and make things out of other things like jellyfish, chandeliers, whatever, and then be like, what would that be as a spaceship?
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I like that. Thank you.
I'm going to look real quick through here, and then I'll let you guys go.
Okay, so bottom left and those top 3 grouped up. All right, cool. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate the time.
All right, just looking through the chat. Okay. I forgot what I was going to say now. Okay, so everybody's understanding what we're doing, right? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Basically, I'm not really expecting anything tomorrow. I want to have a discussion tomorrow, and I just want to find out, any part where you're going, wait, I didn't get that, or I didn't get that, or whatever. What I would probably do with that thing is I'd probably look at up to a point if I go, okay, I get all that, and then go and try it. And then, and then what I like about YouTube, obviously, is when you go back, it just resumes from where you started. Or if there's a section where you're going, okay, you're kind of doing this, you can bypass or whatever, okay? But, you might want to take it in chunks or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. I'll see you in the morning then. There's no questions, right?
No, not yet.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
fine.
not I.
Okay, good. So I'll see you guys in the morning. And thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Mike. Bye, guys.
Bye.